So we've just created our 404 page and we put a search on it. We need that search to go to somewhere. So we're going to create a search results page. We're going to play around here a little bit with the layout, but what I'm really going to show you here is actually how we set up a template that inherits the properties of a parent template. So to do that, I've got to create a blank template just quickly, but this blank template is something we can use in other places. This is something you can use to create wide content or full screen content, or even custom pages that don't want to be connected to any template. So first thing we're going to do is create a blank template, and then we're going to create our search results template that actually inherits that blank template. Sounds confusing, but we're going to walk through it, and hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a better idea of how the templates work and what the inherit template actually means. All right, let's get stuck into it. And you should be pretty familiar with this. Here we are at the Oxygen templates. What we're going to do now is we actually want to create a template that we can use for all sorts of stuff, a blank template essentially, that's going to have an inner content section, and then we're going to use that to create our search results page. So I'm going to create two templates here. We'll do this first one really quickly. We're going to do what we did last time, which was duplicate this inside standard template. So just click duplicate, and then we'll go into edit, and let's call this blank template, or blank standard if you want, and click publish, and then we'll go in here and just edit this really quickly. Okay, so that's loaded now, and if we go to the structures panel and open stuff up, we just want to do a couple of small things. I want to actually delete this hero section because it's grabbing this advanced custom fields information for the background image, that is. And also in this content area here, I'm going to get this inner content and I'm going to pull this out so it's not actually inside a container. So you can see here it's going across everything, which, look, that looks messy, but this is what we want for now. So we've still got our reusable part, which is our navigation, and we've still got our reusable part, which is our footer. So that's all we need to do now. Just click save, and we'll go back to our Oxygen templates. So we'll click this here where it says back to WP, and we'll go to admin. Now we'll go back to the templates here, and what we're going to do this time is create a new template. So let's click add new template, and we'll call this one search results. Now what we're going to do here is inherit this from another template. Now when we click this, you can see we've only got two options. We've got the blank and the standard inside. And that's because these are the only two templates that we've created that have a inner content. So what actually goes on here is when you inherit a design from another template, it essentially keeps everything that you've got laid out except for the inner content, and you can paste anything or design within that inner content. Now you don't need to do this in all situations, but it's a pretty handy setup for creating something like a blank standard template, which we're doing right now. So let's create this. We'll use the blank standard template, and we're going to actually set up a few things here. We're going to make this our search results page, and we need to set our priority as 1. So now that that's done, let's click publish. And again, what we're going to do here is just click edit with Oxygen. So now Oxygen has loaded our search results template, and you'll see that it looks quite different to the other templates. Really, all we have here is this click to add elements, and this is new. If we open up the structures as well, the structure panel, you notice all we have is the inner content. You actually can't get to the footer and the header in here. And that's because it's importing these or inheriting them from the parent template that we've connected this one to. So let's start building out our search results template. I'm going to click in to add a section, and I'm going to give this a background color. I'll put in a background image. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to put in this homepage one. I'll make sure it's left 50% and top 50%. I'll put in a heading of, say, your search results. I'll make it a heading 3. I'll give the text color this color of white. And then I'm going to add some padding here just above it and make sure this is centered. So that's our first area here. If we click add and add another section in, you can see that inside this inner content here, we're actually building stuff in this inner content, and that's all we're really touching. Now the good thing with this is you can create multiple templates that actually pull in the same header and footer without sort of being able to touch them or ruin them. And that's a good way to sort of simplify your templates if you don't want to keep duplicating them, and it's a good way to keep things consistent. All right, so let's put in our search results. What I'm going to do here is use a repeater. I'm not going to explain too much about the repeater because we're going to be looking at this in detail in the next module. So I'm going to kind of bash through this one pretty quickly, and just know that in the next module, I'm going to do a breakdown and explain how this works. So let's click one, add, and we'll go to repeater. And what I want to do is actually create our search results. So I'm going to put in a title. So add WordPress dynamic data title. And I can make this say a H4. And I'll go add content. Now after this, what I actually want is to have, say, a row on this repeater of the div, so we can see a bit of difference between it. So I'm going to give it a little bit of padding before and after. And on the end of this div here, what I'm going to do is put a border here. So we'll go to the bottom one, we'll go solid, put a light gray here, and just make it say 6 pixels. I'm going to click save, and if you didn't catch all of that, that's totally fine. What I need to do on this repeater though is make sure I am catching the information from the right area. So I'll make sure this is default. I'll go save, and we'll see if this works and is pulling in the data from our search results. So if we go to our 404, we can actually test out to see if this is grabbing the content. So if we type something in, like packages, and hit search, we'll be given our search results. You can see this is loading and it's working perfectly, but we probably want to change this so we can link to the page and maybe only show an excerpt rather than the full content for that page. So let's actually change that now real quick. I'm going to remove this here. I'll delete this text. I'll click add, and I'll put in some normal text. I'll just put a little bit of spacing above this. Select the text and I'll say insert data. And rather than saying the content, I'll actually pick excerpt. And what I'll do here as well is I'll add a little button. So I'll click button. I'll change this to view more. We'll change this so that it's our brand colors here. And then we'll put a link on this that actually links to the page. So we'll go to permalink, click save, and if we refresh this here, now that's better. We can click these and it'll actually take us to that page. So now if someone goes to say our 404, they're given this, they can actually search for something like packages and kind of close that loop. So we know they've got a nice search results page there that takes them into the rest of the website. Now, if you didn't quite follow the repeater properly, don't stress. We're looking at that in the next module. We're going to be covering that in detail, and I'll be slowing down and walking through actually what's going on. So don't worry too much about that if you didn't follow it. The main thing you should have got from that though is a better understanding of how the template works and what goes on when we inherit another template. All right, that's a fair bit, and it's time to move on to this very last little bonus lesson. So click complete lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.